So yesterday I had farro, which I really liked, and I'm looking forward to purchasing some more. Farro and broccoli. Today I'm having Annie's uh, alfredo, pasta shells, broccoli, and some Swedish meatballs. I I mixed my two matte hues lipstick colors together, Sincere and Charm, and I think I have the color I was looking for, a blue pink that's kind of ruddy, brick brown, muddy colored. UFOs came, having trouble getting my foot all the way in. It's it's very swollen. Called the doctor's office today because what I notice is, first of all, I don't know if this is par for the course, but the cast was taken off and then everybody departed. So I know that I'm supposed to start walking, I guess. I've got my knee rover. Nobody was actually there to observe, assist, watch, speculate me putting weight on my foot. So, I took my time scratching off skin and then putting some band-aids on on my not so mature scars and putting a sock on, then stuffing it in my Mary Jane Keen Presidio shoe, and then being like, well, you got your knee rover, or, you know, what worked in my favor for inclining myself to be weight bearing at the doctor's office is the day before I was vacuuming. And since I knew the cast was coming off and I knew that meant that I could walk, that I could start to walk, I was putting weight on the cast. I stayed mostly on the heel, and that didn't seem to bother me and allowed me to be a little bit more mobile vacuuming. A little bit. It's a give or take. The wires wrap around the knee rover, or I have to get down low, and I'm like, how do I do this? And then you get up from a 3-point position, one leg that's not very strong anymore to support torso weight, and two hands, and you're like, yeah, I think I do it this way. Oh yeah, and so it's a 2-point position. I'm holding the vacuum nozzle. So I knew it, in my memory, I knew it was awkward. It's an awkward contraption. UFOs came today. They come with their own hanger. Look at that. It's kind of too small to put in the rod in my closet. It holds my garments, my clothes, but I'm like, it came in the bag. I'll take UFOs off of the shoe, off the foot that's easy to put on and off. I'm like, is that it? Is that what you do? I can hang my shoes, I guess. I guess that's what that means. What would be the other way to do that? I don't know. Anyway, it came with a hanger. I haven't tossed it yet because I'm like, these shoes came with a hanger. How odd. Yet even they sawed each other. Let's see, what else? Zoomer, gold Zoomer paddles came. Zoomer fins and paddles came, agility paddles for swimming. I've got the area set up over on those chairs. There's bunch of swimming paraphernalia, a unitard swimsuit, fins, paddles, micro towel, bathing cap, Keen sandals. I also pulled the Ultra running shoes I bought previously on sale, because when they're on sale, you know, even if I don't need them, with the way that I go to the gym and such, it's like, buy them now. You'll be one step ahead of the curve. So I had them in the closet, pulled them out. So all that gear's ready to go. I have to wait at least a month. What else? The paddles. They look like if they fall off, they're not going to float, so I'm going to have to go diving for them. It's like, note to self, you may have to go diving to retrieve your paddle. Because the agility paddle's made to stay on if your stroke is right and they fall off, because it's just a little hole for your thumb, and it's shaped for your hand, and if your hand is not the right shape and your stroke isn't, they're gonna fall off. So they're teaching you good form. I just wanted resistance to both match fins on my feet and to give me something more along the lines of strength training or resistance along with cardio. I do like the UFOs. It does feel like they de-stress. Can't really explain it, but I do think the foam has a different feel. It seems to decompress. So you know, around the house, I'm supposed to be wearing a rigid boot. I've got a rigid hiking boot ordered on the way. As it is for now, my foot doesn't flex. So, but I do know that wearing no shoes, especially where there isn't a carpet, hurts. It hurts my heel. Ironically, my heel wasn't operated on. So I called the doctor today because my toe, the big toe and the little toe, both had bunions on them. The big toe looks like it's twisted like this. And when I look at the symmetry now of standing on my feet, I could see that it doesn't match the non-operative, non-surgery foot, and that twisting, the nail is underneath, it's rubbing and nested under the toe next to it. And to me, that did not seem like good form, because it looks like, you know, shoot, over active wear and tear of using my body and mobility, that looks like it's going to produce a blister or whatnot. Who knows? But to me, it didn't look right, especially when I could see it weight bearing next to my foot. So I called the doctor and I got Jen. And I'm pretty sure that I met Jen when I got my cast off. She was introduced to me as someone new. And Jen's like, you know, basically running interference in the sense that I'm sure the doctor gets a lot of calls in terms of, oh no, it's twisted. But the good conversation that came from that was basically, you know, I need to be weight bearing, and so it can, the foot, I haven't been on my foot. I need to be on my foot and let it relax into its natural form. As for the swelling, because it's difficult to stuff my stuff my foot into my Keen shoe right now. I did it today, but it still hurt. I took my wool sock off. I'm out there. It's single digits. It's negative at night. I'm like, no sock, so I can wear a shoe. I'm walking me now. But let's see what else as far as interesting meta and reverie. It's only interesting meta and reverie for those that see air. See air. Or that have seen it. Then you can start reading in between the lines. The subtext. And also know how to fill in the gaps. You know what I mean. I purchased capsaicin. So when I was doing a little R&D the day before I got my cast off, I was searching for shoes that people wear after first foot surgery, therapy. What exercises can I do? Because I already knew in the cast my toe wasn't flexing. Like, oh boy, it's got no range. I'm gonna have to, this is gonna take some work. So, and I found some information, and in that information there was a foot doctor that was recommending doing these toe exercises, but he liked to rub capsaicin in, so it heats up the joint and makes it more conducive to being flexible. And so after I went to the doctor yesterday, there's a CVS right there. So I walked over there, and so I was looking at basically the icy hot pain muscle section. Were three options. There's lidocaine, there's a mixture of camphor or menthol, and then capsaicin. And I purchased capsaicin because, well, I asked there was a little gaggle of young ladies that were working in the pharmacy area. But I asked them which has higher ratings. I see the section over there. I see the contenders: lidocaine, camphor, menthol, or capsaicin. And it was recommended to me that capsaicin was preferable. And the store brand I bought, the girl behind in the pharmacy, she said that's what her mom used for her arthritic knee and really liked it. So I tried the capsaicin today, and I had a little arnica gel already, so that's homeopathic for swelling and bruising. I mixed the capsaicin with a little, it was a sample I got. Is it Emily? You could find it at Whole Foods. It's like a petroleum in terms of its feel and texture, but it's natural ingredients. I bet you it has beeswax in it, shea butter. Anyway, so I mixed the capsaicin into an emollient because when I took the cap off, it's got this little pad, and it's not, it's a liquid, and you dab it on. So I mixed it in an emollient, and I think it actually does help. Heating up the area, that joint, and I put it, I did not have ankle surgery, but my ankle is so gargantuan, it hurts. I feel like I have a club foot. I put it 360 around that ankle at the very least, because I didn't want to put it over my immature scars. So I was happy to discover that. That was not something I was directed to do by my doctor, but I find comfort from that, and I have not taken any Tylenol. I don't I don't know. I don't know if I need it. And why I shrug is my pain reception. I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect it to some degree is probably different from other people. Uh, you know? After surgery, I was given 70 pills for oxycodone. And I took them for the first 2 days, uh, just because I heard that once the pain block wore off, the local anesthesia, that was very painful. But what I found is I just had hot spots where my foot was resting in the cast. And hot spots, to me, don't necessitate a drug that's going to send you fucking sideways, and you feel like shit, and you can't shit, because it bungs you up, okay? You know? 70. So to me, this is it's a little chronic, it's a little gnawing. Is it affecting my head? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if I feel tired because I'm physically managing this, you know? That it's an exertion to do my laundry because I have to walk down the hallway, you know? Uh, I don't know. But I feel it's an organic approach to one, being present, and then collaborating way forward by being present. It's not piercing pain. What I can tell is I mean, it's been a day. I've had a day off without a cast. When I'm off my foot and then I put pressure on it, it's stiff. But in using it, it kind of warms up. So when I did call today, Jen said, mentioned the swelling, and she said that walking is going to reduce that. But I can't, it's hard to get it in a shoe right now. So I was dialoguing with myself. Maybe I can pretend it fits in a shoe and go walking in theory. Certainly feels that way. Yum. This is a nice little combo. Hmm. not eating all my broccoli because I put it in the convection oven. Some of it's still frozen. Gosh darn it. Maybe I'll eat it later. I was listening to the radio on the way to the appointment yesterday, and someone was talking. I think it was with a world news agency, but I'm not sure. There was this guy, he said, I think he was a biologist, and he did a paper on dung beetles, and he was explaining that he was a young, if I recall, a young biology student. I think he was in Africa. An elephant passed, dropped a deuce, dropped a big elephant deuce, and he's like, wow, this is awesome, because he studies dung beetles, and dung beetles were flying in for the catch. And so he's like, wow, I get to savor this moment and study it. And he was saying that the dung beetles that were flying in were so thick, they covered his, his notebook to take notes. He just had to wipe them away so he could take notes about the dung beetles. But he was explaining about the dung beetles that they have a strategy. Apparently, elephant poop is food, and it's food to compete for. So when an elephant drops a deuce, voila, there's the dung beetles, vying for, I want more poop for me. And so one of the strategies of a dung beetle is to take that big elephant poop and partition it into a mass that you can roll away. So you're getting it away from someone that would compete with you. You're rolling it away from the, So dung beetles make balls of poop from a big poop pile and roll it away so they can preserve it for their posterity, for their future posterity. He was talking about the dung beetles with horns, and so there's dung beetles that fly and I guess partition and make a ball and roll it away. Then you have dung beetles that tunnel into the dung, okay? And those beetles develop horns, and horns are a weapon to, hey, this is my dung tunnel. And so to develop those weapons, a dung beetle with a horn in a tunnel will fight another dung beetle with a horn in a tunnel. He was saying it's one-on-one in the tunnel because the tunnel will only fit one dung beetle at a time in passing. So what they'll do, so somehow the evolution, you get a horn if you go in the tunnel, if you dig, versus the dung beetles that fly and stay on top and make a roll and roll it away. And he was saying that how they fought was they dig their legs into the side of the wall and they use their horn like, a weapon or a tool to like, hey, this is my tunnel, dude. So I just was listening. I thought it was interesting. Who knew? Who knew? There was more to the conversation. he was talking about trophy hunting. Somehow the conversation went from dung beetles to deer. So deers have weapons too. They're rack or even moose. And so he was talking about, rutting males to produce their weapon to fight other males so that they could have the female. It's interesting. For the moose, the moose has to pull from other things in its body to produce the horns, but basically it to have that horn to rut and fight, go head to head, it induces it into a physical state of osteoporosis, whereas other bones are brittle, And the person on the radio is talking about this sort of system of imbalances, of exaggeration by the trophy hunter. I want the deer with the big rack to, where the big rack used to mean better genes, okay, better prowess to compete head to head and therefore lay the deer you want, or all you want. With trophy hunting, you're removing that head-to-head gene pool, and you're seeing less of it. You're seeing less big racks. So it's kind of curious that it seemed to me that the person speaking was relating that there was a natural order for vying in nature, and yet trophy hunting was curiously, putting a cap. It's putting a cap on what would be inherent potential to pass on. And let's see, about how did that work with the dung beetle? I don't know if people trophy hunt dung beetles too for their horns. I don't know. But it was interesting. He was saying that there was a compensation also. So for nature to produce these weapons to compete better, males on males to get the females, that say, well, we were saying even the dung beetle, might get really little eyes or really little penis, but it's got a big horn, It just seemed very interesting, and I thought, for a moment, I might like to be a biology scientist studying a big pile of freshly laid elephant poop with dung beetles flying in Africa. I don't know. There's a certain now romance to that, okay? So capucin, I was commenting that minnow I can't smell it. There's a very, very light alcohol scent to me, but I think that's this is a little tad. I think that's the delivery vehicle. But when I took this out the other night, Minnow, his nose, he was all over it. He can smell it, He was very, very interested in it. Visual. What? Where's the ankle? See it from my perspective. Ankle's wider than my foot. This is not happy. Trying to get there. It's only one day. Oh boy.